right, page 9. What we're going to do is grab this out of our paper pack. On the back, it looks like this. We will turn it sideways, measure over 6 inches, and cut. We're going to cut for our next page, which is 10. So we're just going to double these up now. Measure over 8 inches and cut. These two pieces here left over, we want them for our page 9. And we also want this one for our page 9. This one we will set aside for page 10. So set this all aside and we are going to find what we need. All right, so I am going to tell you exactly what you need to cut for this page. However, I'm also going to have this, I'm going to show it to you on the screen. So to make sure, so you're going to want 2 pieces and you're going to want to write on them 2 pieces of cardstock that are 4 5/8 inch by 6 inches tall. You're going to want a piece that is 4 inches by 8.5 inches. You're going to want one that's 4 3/4 inch by 8.5. And you're going to want one that is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So let's take a look at those measurements. Alright, so they were up on the board, and if you need to rewind and pause, go ahead and do that. We're going to need our scoring board. And let's start with the one that is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. So I'm 8.5 inches across the board. At a 1/2 inch, we're going to score. At 8 inches, we're going to score. Whoops, I got offline there. That's all right. We're going to turn it once, and we're going to score at a 1/2 inch. Okay. Next one is our 4 3/4 by 8.5. We're going to do the same thing. 1/2 inch, 8 inch. We'll turn it once and we'll score at a 1/2 inch. Next, our 4 inch by 8.5 inch. Same thing. We'll score at a 1/2 inch and 8 inch. We will rotate once and score at a 1/2 inch. If you need to pause the video, go ahead and do that. Let's move on. I am grabbing both my 4 5/8 by 6 inch. So let's place one down, and we are 4 5/8 across the board. And at 4 inches, we're going to score. And at 4 1/8, we're going to score. And we are going to write the word right, just like that. So to make this easy, let's grab this next one, just flip it upside down, and we'll do the same thing. 4 inch and 4 1/8. We can now flip this and say this is our left side. So trying to make this as easy as possible. Okay, so grab all of these. These are our 8.5 inch wide, and you're going to want to do it so they are step laddered like this. This is where using your score tape is actually going to help you. So just place your score tape down. Okay, try to do it so that it is in the center and maybe come down, because all we're going to do is outline this. Okay, so let's see here. Just come down a little bit on this one, and I'm looking for my ruler, which ran away from me. And I'll tell you how far down I am actually going here. Let me make my mark. So this is approximately coming down about 5/8 of an inch from the top of this. You can make a pencil mark, place your score tape down, and trace around. Now, to get this all even, what you're going to want to do is find your center somewhere. Just kind of eyeball it. And what you can do is just kind of trace a light line. Okay? I'm on the second piece now. I'm going to measure down on that line about 5/8. Same goes on this one. About 5/8. Okay? So, when you have all these, you know how far you need to come down. And I like to keep mine all together so I can make it so that it kind of looks the same on each one. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to draw there. Bring this one up, trying to stay even. And I will draw there. Okay? That just helps to keep you even with these. So now all we have to do is cut these out. If it's easier for you to line these up so that you are for sure straight, you can double these up. Remember, your score lines are at the bottom, and you can cut them out at the same time. Once you have yours all cut, you can erase any pencil marks that you have. You don't want to have that on there. Okay, let's clip out the corners of each one of these, and then we're going to fold on our score lines. We're going to do what we've always done. We'll tuck in the sides. We will place some glue down here to each one. Whoops, Niagara Falls. All right, so we'll do that with each one of these. And then we're going to lay our 3/8 inch score tape along the back side. We'll do our clips. So let's get these all ready to go. This is where we are, and what's going to eventually happen is this is going to be mounted right here, which is cool looking, I think, anyway. So let's find the paper that we need here. Now remember, we don't have to have a full sheet because it's going to be covered up by this one. So let's find some paper. In your paper pack, you will find another one of these sheets. Let's just measure over 8 inches and cut. Stick this in your reserves. Let's turn this, measure over 2.5 inches and cut. Measure over again 2.5 inches and cut. So those are what you should have, your 2.5 inch by 8 inch. With this, now let's measure over 3 3/8 inch and cut. All right, we are ready. So on each one of these, you are going to, like on the 2.5 inch strips, you're going to want to ink around the top and the sides of each one of these. On this one, you're going to want to ink around the entire piece. Keep your ink handy because we will need to do some fixing. So with this piece here, oh, we need to cut that down actually. All right, all of these, my bad. All 3 of these are 8 inches long. We're going to need to cut these down. All right, on all 3 of these, we're going to measure over 7 3/8 and cut. Well, shoot. Oh well, no harm done. All right, now grab the one with the little postage stamper in the side, at the top. You're going to grab your largest one, okay, which is the 5.5 inch. We can now ignore that because that's not right. Slide this back behind and bring it down until it is flush there, okay? Grab your pencil. Everything's running away from me. Oh my gosh. There it is. Grab your pencil and outline. Okay, now when you cut this, you are going to go below the line that you made. Okay? Your little ink dauber. Now bring this up and you should still have a black border, top and sides. Let's apply glue and glue that down. All right, yours should look like this. Let's grab our next one, and this one is 4 3/4. And we're going to grab our 2.5 inch, and we are going to slide it back behind. You should be able to get right on in there. Bring it down, and we'll do the same thing. Apply glue, and glue that down. Next one is the 3 3/8 and our smallest one. Let's just slide that right on in there. We're going to do the same thing. So let's cut, ink, apply glue, and glue that down. All right, I've got all mine ready to go. Let's start with the tallest one. A little bit, probably 1/4 inch on each side there. Approximately. Okay, make sure that that is down really good. Okay, the next one is the next size that fits like this. So line it up with this one, and at the bottom we'll use this, and the last one. So this is so simple, but it looks so nice, you know. Last one right here. So, and you can put this in there, make sure it's smoothed down really good too. Okay, so that is what we have so far, and I think it looks pretty darn cool. Let's grab our right side. We will fold on those score lines. Okay, on the inner and you have an inner and an outer. On the outer one, we are going to wrap this around to the back. Let's apply some glue. Put that on there. Okay, we can now fold it on the other score line so that when we fill, we have a nice flat edge. Here's our left. We're going to do the same thing and attach it. Make sure you are even with the top and bottom of this one. Pinch and hold. Whoops. There we go. And then we can fold it back. Make sure that we are even. So what you're going to get is this. Now we do have something here that's going to keep us closed. So we're just going to open this up and work on these two. In your reserves, you will find this cutout, and on the back it's white. And you will also find another little panel, which is the blue one, and it's white. So what we're going to do, we're going to open this up, is we're just going to place this down, and we're going to measure to fit. I'm going to do that with both of these. And matter of fact, they are almost the same size, it looks like. So I'm going to double these up and I'm going to make those cuts. So I'm going to put the blue one over here, but check to make sure that you have a little bit of black showing around. So if you need to trim a little more, do so. Once you have these where they fit, flip them over, apply your glue, and glue these down. I've got mine down, so now I'm just going to close this up. You should have 2 of these. Okay, so what we're going to do is trim them to fit, and we're going to leave a little bit of black, black, and black. So for me and over here, so I'm going to do my trim here and my trim here. I am going to double these up because they're the same and cut. So do not glue these down yet. We're going to do something different. I've been wanting to do this to give it a try. So cut This is chipboard, that thin piece. So what you're gonna do is cut it so it is 2.5 inches long. Then let's make this into a little arrow as best you can. That's good enough. All right. So we definitely are going to use magnets, guys. So we need to look in our reserves. So dig deep underneath everything. This came from, I believe, from when we started the album. It is blue and has writing on it. Okay? I want the writing part. So I'm just going to stick this here and I'm going to measure to fit this, leaving some black around it. So I'm just going to do my thing. Very easy. There's one, and then I'm also going to do that arrow. Okay, you're going to want to cut 2 of these. So let's do that. All right, so once you get 2 of your arrows done with your paper, we definitely are going to need to trim it shorter. And this is going to pivot. So we're going to just glue the top one down, and the arrow is going to point to the left. We'll glue this first one down. Now the next one underneath, we have to put our magnet. So let's grab a magnet. I've been wanting to try this for a while. Flip it over, put some glue there. You'll want to grab your other one, and we'll trim that one to fit. And we're going to glue this down. Make sure you get enough glue where that magnet's going to sit. Make sure you press around that magnet really good so the paper seals around it. Perfect. That looks good. All right. Now you're going to want to make a hole in the middle there. So I am just going to draw a hole or a circle and use this to get through it, or use your craft knife. God, that works awesome. I love that. All right. So what we're going to do is just lay these out. If you have binder clips or these, okay, this will help keep your paper straight while you maneuver your magnets and where this needs to be. So I'm going to use my clamps right there. Okay, so this is what you have. You want to make sure, and the magnet side's going to go down. Okay, so right now all you want to do is go through and make a mark with your pencil onto this. You can now unclip this one, find the hole that you, or the mark with pencil that you made, and it may be kind of hard to see. And we're going to make our little hole there. Let's grab a brad. Okay, where is this? Make sure that that magnet is down. Place it through this one. And you're going to want to add some glue just to make sure. And press it. Okay, so this one is in place now. Okay, we can now remove the clips. What we're going to do is apply our tape, or not tape, our glue to the back. And we are going to mount it on this first one. So let's do that. Let's get the mate to the magnet. Okay. Place it to where it taps underneath. Okay. Swing this around. Dab a little glue on the middle. Bring it up. Now, you know where it goes. Right smack dab there. Okay, it is now okay to apply glue. Make sure you get really good around your magnet there. Let your magnet dry. and then we'll put that down. All right, let's give this a try. Let's see how we did. If you're a little crooked, it's okay. Well, just swing it. Wow, snaps good, looks good. I like it. Make a small bow out of your string. Add a little glue to the center. And glue that down. I like it. I'm really enjoying this album. It's different from what I've been doing, because mostly I do very feminine, and this one is more masculine, and I am just having a good time. I hope you guys are too. All right, it's time to mount this in our book. We are done with it. Score tape around the outside like a picture frame, 1 down the middle, 2 on either side, and we will mount this in our book. We are now on to page 10. Before you mount this, make sure you don't mount it upside down. I almost did that. And you will definitely open this when you are done placing it. And we're going to smooth down everything, and we should still latch. Yes, I definitely love this album. It is really cool. Now, one thing is we are super thick here, and I know that back here we did something like this. I think we're going to do the same thing on this page, and that way it gives us room to just place, because I'm afraid that we're going to get way too thick and it's going to not close very well. So one thing you can do after the fact is add some ink around your edges, and I'm going to do that around the edges, and I'm going to ink around the edges of this. I'm going to apply my score tape, and we're just going to mount this in there. And page 10 will be done. That looks good. We are on our last 2 pages, guys, and then of course we have this to do and over here to do, but we'll do that last. And then we might even put a strip of paper in between our pages. In your paper pack, you will have this sheet. On the back, it looks like this. So first thing we're going to do is even though we're going to be using this side up, we're going to make sure we all have the same leftovers. So measure over 8 inches and cut. This piece, what we're going to do, we're actually going to complete page 11 and 12 together. So we're just going to set this off to the side. Actually, I'm going to use something else. Put that in reserves. Okay, now this is easy. Turn it to where you're looking at it like this. Measure over 6 inches and cut that in half. Okay, flip them over. The majority of my ink spots here are at the top. Okay, I want a little bit of color here. This is in our reserves. Measure over to the bottom of the brown here and cut. Now measure over 6 inches and cut. All right, so one is going to be for the left, one is going to be for the right. Let's get our black cardstock. Cut 2 pieces of cardstock that are 2 3/4 inch by 8 inch. So one is for this side and one is for this. Those of you that are using the punches, use your deep edge or large punch, and you're going to punch along the long side on each one of these. I am in the Sweetheart Borders, and I'm going to use this. So all I'm going to do is center that top to bottom, bring it up to the edge, and die cut on this one and on this one. So let's do die cutters. You'll want to cut in from the sides to release that top portion. All right, so what we have here now, what we're going to do is bring this up under our trim like so. You'll want to be even, and if you have a bunch of black like this, what we're going to do is trim this to fit. So for that one, I have some trimming. Those of you that used the large punch, you may only have a little bit of trimming. So I'll place that one too. And I'm going to center this here as best I can. Make sure it's even. And I will trim. So I'm going to trim this, and I'm going to trim this. All right, let's grab our score tape. We're going to put one on the right hand side all the way down, and we're going to put one on the left hand side all the way down. We'll have two side pockets. Make sure that you burnish this down really good. And we're going to install our pocket. Oh, first, double check to make sure that you're good. Double checking is always good. Sometimes we make mistakes. So I'm just going to center this, bring it over to the side. I'll press in the middle. Now I'll press out. Okay. We'll wrap our flaps to the back. And we will tack these down, okay? Next, we're going to ink around the edges of our main pages after we install this one. So go ahead and install this one. We'll ink around the edges, then we're going to ink around the edges of this, and we're going to glue these down to both sides. So let's do that. I'm going to start over here. So I've inked around the edges of everything. Now it's time for me to apply glue and glue these down. We are not quite done here. You will want to make a string bow and grab one of your carnations, and we'll glue that right in the center of that bow. Okay, and we'll set that aside for a moment. In your paper pack, you will find this sheet. So the first thing that I want to do is I am going to just cut along the bottom of these little tags to separate them. So I am going to cut out and around this one to get that plain, and I'm going to ink around the edges. Cut a piece of cardstock that is 2 3/4 wide by 4 1/2 tall. Once you ink around the edges of that, you will find if you place this will give a very nice clean look of a border around it. Let's apply our glue and center that, giving us that black border. So yours should look like this. This is where I like to just clip, leaving a little bit of a black border. All right, this is the last thing that we are going to be doing. So I am going to glue this at an angle, okay? You don't have to. You can do it up and down like this, and then have this go right like this. I'm just going to do slightly at an angle, but I'm only going to get back down here and up the side a little, so that in case I would like to slide something back behind, I can. So here I go. Just slightly, just a little bit. All right, now let's take our little bow and carnation and stick it. Now this, if you don't like this because you're doing a masculine album, for someone who does not like flowers and stuff, you don't have to put those on there. But I think that looks really good. Page 11 and 12, they are complete, and these are our last 2 pages. We're going to put score tape around the outside like a picture frame, one down the middle, one on either side, and we're going to mount these in our book. If you want to wait to mount your page 12, your last one with me, I will be mounting this. This one we already know how to do. One tip, make sure you line it up with the top and bottom of this one as best you can, and then of course we'll use our tool to smooth this down. it's time to mount this one. Okay, I have pulled the score tape backing off this, and we are just going to butt that up right next to this and press. If you get a little bit off, that is okay. I'm going to show you what you can do. Is just by grabbing a piece of your leftovers and cutting it to fit is one way. For me, I do need to, because I did get a little bit off. So I found something in my reserves, and all I'm going to do is apply my glue right down that seam, like so. There we go. Okay, for this over here, in your reserve, you will find this piece. On the back, it looks like this. Measure over 6 inches, and looking at your piece like this, because I want to get the boat in there, measure over 1.5 inches and cut. Okay, let's flip to the beginning here, and I have this too, which will fit back here perfectly. But for this one, I'm going to overlap over a little. And what I want to do is, I think I'm going to ink around, at least around here, in between. So I'm just going to add some ink here, and a little ink on this side. I'm going to apply glue, and I'll make sure I get glue on my prongs. Apply glue to the back, and then I'm going to glue this down, making sure I'm even top and bottom. Okay, this is done. Let's flip to the back. And you will notice that this, if it butts up, we have some room over here left over, but that is okay. Inking. I will ink here on one side, and I'm going to ink over here a little. And I'm going to make sure I get glue around those prongs. Okay. Now, because I like to stay consistent when I look and open up a book, if you notice, I'm closer over here to the edge than over here. So, for me, I can grab a piece of trim and throw it down. However, I want to do something a little different. What I'm going to do is grab this out of my reserve. It's the one with the lines. This is a great one, and I'll be cutting to use this as journaling for sure. But I don't need that much, so I'm just going to measure over. So I have 3 lines here and cut. And then what I did was I cut it by 6 inches. And I am going to use just a little bit of my ink. This is actually a good idea because you can actually write on this. Right on your album. You can put the name, the year. If it's a gift for someone, you can put their name. And voila. Okay, so this is, I'll get everything out from over here. Alright, so we have just a little bit of black showing here, and I'm really not going to worry about that. In between here though, I would like to be able to put something in here. So I am going to grab a neutral color possibly. Let's see. Something like this would be good, I think. So I'm grabbing this out of my reserves. You might have the same one left over. If not, you can grab another piece. The first thing I want to do is measure over this long way to 6 inches and cut. So this next part, what you can do is do this by hand by laying it down, making a pencil mark and trim, or you can just do the same cuts and cut several of these. For me, I'm going to measure over 5/16 and cut, measure over again 5/16 and cut, and keep going until I have nothing left here. So I will show you mine. Okay, so I have a bunch of these. All I'm going to do is apply glue to this. and glue this down in between, lining up with the top and the bottom of my paper the best I can. And making sure I am not on my hinge there. 5/16 should fit perfectly in there. If you have any glue squirting out, definitely fix that. So there's that one. I have another one here that I can place. Okay. Next. And I have 2 extra here. This one. I'm going to use it. Okay. There we go. There is our album. Now, picture mats. I don't usually do the picture mat thing because everyone has their own tastes on what sizes. But let's do one together, like we did a folder together. And so in your reserves, you will find this 4 by 6 inch piece. A 4 1/4 inch by 6 1/4 inch. Okay. You will notice that this will fit nicely and give you a black border around it. So apply your glue and glue that down. Once you do that, your picture mat is done and you can slide it in your album. You can do picture mats of all various sizes. It all depends on what photo sizing you like. If you don't like to do a lot of cropping in your photos, stick to standard size. Our album is complete and there's still plenty of room to add our picture mats so it's not squished. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will be doing another tutorial coming up soon using the Stamperia, I can't even say that, Stamperia ceremony paper. And you would need 3 packs of that, the 12 by 12 size, to do. In the meantime, I have some other really cool projects coming up that aren't mini albums, so be sure to subscribe to my channel so you get the latest and greatest tutorials released. Happy crafting, everyone, and oh, remember, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is shellie@jshobbiesandcrafts.com, or you can leave a comment underneath the video letting me know how you liked this project or ask a question. All right, I will see you real soon. Bye, everyone.